Right. How are you? Good. Drowning. Plan to drown. So what happened to your other subjects? Have they started the test one? This week? Next week? How many subjects do you have? Oh, that's very easy life. 3. What subjects? Oh, pathology. What? Turf? The other one? What's that? All right. Okay. So that's the core university subject. Bring down this blind. It's a bit glaring. Right. Well, usually for my classes, I don't go crazy during the test week. Just want to give you some time because I know some subjects are, how do we put it, a bit demanding, right? Or do you want the full force as well? Because some of your friends thinking it's a bit unusual the way I do class. Do you think unusual is good or conventional all the way? The time, the life that you're living now, in what year now? Yeah, in the 20s, 25s, 30s. Do you think it's regular compared to 10 years ago, 20 years ago? Just to give you a perspective, time's changing very rapidly, very fast now. For example, the number of human population stayed around 2 billion from the beginning of the time until around 1700, 1800. I think it was 1700. It stayed around 2 billion people, right? Meaning that from the beginning of time, Adam and Eve, until 1700, that's around 300, 400 years ago. To reach 2 billion, that's how long it took. But less than 200 years, suddenly the population now is 8 billion. You see, from 2 billion jumped all the way to 8 billion in less than 200 years. How that happened? Is it slow? Or is it fast? Do you think it's a good thing? Is it a good thing? Why is it not? Why? Too many people, your friends taking your oxygen space. The number of population itself is not a problem, but the consumption of resources irresponsibly is the issue. You see? Because each of you consume different kind of resources. Some are renewable, some are non-renewable. And you also produce waste. And of course, some waste are recyclable, reusable, renewable, but some waste, they pretty much stay in that form. So if we stay at 2 billion people, that's pretty much not a problem. But when you times 4 times that many, the turnover rate or the cycle for the resources to be replenished and also for the waste to be taken out of the system, it's going not at the expected pace. So that creates a lot of issues. So what I'm trying to say here to you is, having a skill set to quickly adapt with something is the skill that you need to have living in this era. Okay? And then don't easily get spooked. Do you know spooked? I don't know what's that in Malay. Spooked. You have a snake, you throw it in front of the horse. What happened to the horse? It will making all the horsey sound, right? Yeah, that's getting spooked. You easily get triggered. You easily want to show your immediate reactions abruptly. So I guess what I'm trying to do with this course is, don't easily get spooked. You ask yourself, having self-monologue with yourself, are you a complainer or are you a solver? If every time you see something new is being brought to you, you complain to yourself, you complain to your friends, all negativity coming out from your perceptions, you are a complainer. But if you are a solver, you take it as a challenge. You take it as a challenge and also a point of learning, part of your learning curve. Okay, this is unusual. There must be something more to it. There must be something that I can get out of this. Right? Okay? Right. So, that being said, let's do test 1. Can we do it now? Okay? Or are you dead? I can literally feel some of the heart's beat just stopped. It's not skip a beat, skip a minute altogether. Okay? Alright. Who says okay? Who says okay? 1%, raise your hand. So, you raised your hands, of course I'm going to count that. So, who's not okay? Well, if okay, no non-takers, not okay, also non-takers. So what are you? You do realize that one semesters only have a definite number of weeks, and it has to happen somehow. Okay, so are you ready to have the test 1 now? Why not? Has that not been told? It would happen in week 5 and week 6. So when do you want it? Tomorrow. You know what? If we have it now, it will be I don't know, maybe more chances for you, because the longer you live with me, I'll get more creative to make it more severe. I have a principle when I involve with quarreling with someone or arguing with someone, I'll say what I want to say right away. I don't wait, because if I wait tomorrow, I'll get creative. My reply will be more severe, and somebody going to cry. So, wait. Why look so uncertain? I thought you have mastered the arts of not being blind of what? Have you mastered it or not? Have you done your revision? No? Yes? Okay. I heard yes the loudest, so can we do it now? Give me 1, 2 good reasons why we can't have your first test now. It's already week 5. Why not? Hey, come on. Time is ticking. It won't get any easier for you. It will make it more severe. Why? Why should we do it now? No? Nobody wants us to be the Jesus Savior again? I wonder, Malay student, do you know the concept of Jesus Savior? I keep on saying Jesus, right? Like, do you know what I'm talking about? When I say Jesus Savior, do you know the concept? No? In Christianity, they believe Jesus is the Savior to save them all. They just have to believe in Jesus. Jesus will intercept for all the sins. It's unlike you have to work for it, right? So they have different concept. So all the sins is borne by one person. Kind of like, I think in Muslim, it's called fard kifayah. One person or a group does it, the whole is waived from doing it. Okay, so no objection, no good reason. So can we do it now? All right. No, nobody want to say anything. Yes, what? What? Yes, what? What? Yes. Yes to the test now, or yes, you have a good reason. Test now. Test now. Okay. Agree? Agree? Do you really think that's going to help? Or you want to perform a ritual calling ancestors? I already said, if you don't think it should be today, I ask you for the reason. Nobody wants to give a reason. There are 50 of you. Not even one want to give me a good reason why it should not happen today. I ask again, do you want it today? We could do it today. If you do not want to have today, you want to have it on Wednesday, give me one good reason. Why? What? Come to the middle. I can't hear you. Come to the middle. Say it out loud. Why? Reason number 1, we have not studied yet. Okay. Why did not you study? Why? Why? No reason. Just simply didn't study. What? A lot of exam this week. So, because other subject got exam, kick plant physiology out of the window. Are you looking down at this subject? You think it's too easy? So, it's very hard. It's not easy. Is that a good reason? So you have not studied so many other subjects. Are those good reasons? Good reason? Good reason? Who wants to have it on Wednesday this week? Well, only 3 raise their hand. Okay, fine. The rest still want today. Oh. Okay. We'll have it on Wednesday. No, this is my point. I said last week, right? When I ask something, your lecturer asks something, participate in the class. You barely want to move yourself. You barely want to give the response. I have seen these characteristics of student far too many times now. You are not going to thrive well in the working phase of your life if you keep on doing that. You do not know how to be engaging with the person that you're dealing with. Negotiation is also a skill. That's what I want to teach you. You can nego with me. You can. Not only that, you do not want to respond. You simply do not want anything you do not want to do. So, do you think you're going to pass with flying colors this subject? This I have designed it to make sure that you got full marks up until your final exam. Because I can't help you during the final exam. That's all. I cannot help you. Because some prefects will come and check. Okay. So when do you want to have the first test? All right. Okay. Right. Close book, open Chrome. You can open anything you want. You want to open grammar, open everything. You want to if I don't know, maybe you are some student from Borneo. You want to bring your animistic ritual instrument. You can bring also. Call our ancestors. Open or close? Close. Okay. Who wants it to be closed? Raise your hand. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Okay. Who wants it to be open? Open means open everything. It's very engaging now. Both hands. Some more foot are going out. Okay then. So do you get it? Is it hard? Be engaging. Okay, that's what I'm saying. You are not engaging when you're dealing with your client. When you're working, you're dealing with a client. You're not engaging. You're not going to make any sales. You're not going to cut off any deals. It's not going to happen. All right. Okay, so it's going to cover everything except today. All right, but there will be question about hormones because your seed germination that you should be learning on your own covers gibberellic acid. Okay, so do expect small numbers of question about hormones pertaining to seed germination, not hormone. This is a larger, bigger topic to cover. All right? Okay? Happy? Happy? So what happened to your friend who won the closed test? Oh. Both have its merits. With my test, I suggest you do not make it close. You'll be super stressed. You'll be super stressed. It's open. At least you want to pray, you can go. All right. Okay. I don't want to talk too much about today. I just want to give introduction for this plant growth regulators. Okay. Any chance you have learned about hormone before? Yes. Okay, do you have hormones? Yes. Where? Where's your hormone? Can you show your friends your hormone? So what is it? You said you have it, but inside? Inside body. Is your finger part of your body? No, finger's not your body. So you stole it from somebody else.
Some organ inside the body.
Some organ inside the body.
Pancreas.
Is skin the organ?
Genital.
Skin. Is skin an organ?
Yeah, yes.
So, coming back to your finger, got hormone?
Yes.
Okay, what hormone? What hormone?
What hormone do you produce? Or
Okay, I'm looking at your finger. You said your finger now. You said there's a hormone in it. Okay, what hormone in it? Testosterone. You know, if you got hormone in your finger, testosterone, I'm afraid the reporters will rush and come to make a news out of you. What makes you think your fingers got testosterone? That's interesting. Why? Do you know what testosterone do? Okay, what does it do?
male sexual reproduction.
Okay, to control male sexual reproduction. So what is it doing in your finger? Yeah. So you can't control, you can't see your hormone. How do you know it's there? You can see the effects of your hormones. Okay? Okay, you will see that hormones is actually from a very old word as well. We will see in a bit. So let's have a foundation first. Plants hormones and human hormones. Hormones in humans, in mammals, in animals, in you, the hormones are produced by specialized structure called glands. Glands. So this is where you get your testosterone, progesterone, follicle stimulating hormone, FSH for ladies, growth hormone. So you have many glands throughout your body. Okay, definitely not in your finger. There's no glands there. So you have pituitary glands, you have your thyroid, you have adrenal glands near your kidney, and these all secreting different kind of hormones. So the hormones are produced in specialized location by specialized glands in human. In plants do not have glands. Okay, don't say that your tomato plant got pituitary gland. No. Yeah. You ask why your rose flower is so pretty, or it's high on estrogen today. Really? That's why the flower is so pretty like me? No. You are pretty because you are still 20 years old. Try 80. So in plants, all cells are capable of producing its own hormones. Okay, because it is not produced by one specialized gland. Hormones in plants, they are produced according to the cell types. You have learned about cell differentiation, meaning that the cells increase in number from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, and so on. And also you have learned the concept of cell differentiation, remember? One cell now become next cell and they function completely different. So the moment cell differentiated, it can produce a specialized hormone. Okay? So that is to say, you will get a hormone, for example, in plant, you will get hormone auxin in the shoot apical meristem. You will also get hormone auxin in the root apical meristem, even though they are completely far polar opposite. One at the top, one at the bottom, one is the shoot, one is the root. Okay, completely different, but both can produce the same hormones, that is auxin. Right. So today we just look at the general classification of hormones that you need to worry about. There are 5 of them. So let's see first. You will come up with these terminologies. Plant growth regulators. Okay. For the purpose of research, usually in science, especially in agriculture, many times you don't hear people call plant hormones. Okay, people will call PGR. PGR stands for plant growth regulators. Because to be a hormones, for example, like in human, hormones are made pretty much from cholesterol. Did you know that? Your hormones are made from cholesterol actually. But in plants, there are some substances that act like hormone, but they do not have all this cholesterol that is commonly found in regular hormones. So to be on the safe side, that's why when it comes to research and agriculture, people call it as PGR, growth regulators. Okay, you'll see that as well. Why? And sometimes you will see they will also use the word plant hormone. Of course, we just talked about it. Plant growth substances, that is also common to be used, and also the phytohormones. But usually phytohormones something naturally derived from the plant. Okay, it's not something synthetic, right? So it's from the Greek word hormone, which means what? To excite. To excite. So why use that word? So because of this, it's only required in minute concentration to cause a large response. Okay, so just to excite. For example, I don't have to teach you. Not to teach you. I don't have to touch you. I just have to tell you that your boyfriend cheating on your back. You see, all your hands will start to going up, right? Do I have to touch her? I just have to deliver the small 1-2 sentences to her to get all the crazy reactions from her. I'm not calling you crazy. The reactions. You see, small trigger enough to cause the whole block to hear screaming. So it's to excite. So this is why they are called the growth regulators, or also signaling molecules. Signaling for what? Signaling for a specific event to happen. For example, when you are a toddler, do you have FSH or LH for girls? Do you even know what I'm talking about? Okay. When you are toddlers, are these hormones active? No. What are they doing? Watching you from inside. What is FSH? Okay, what is LH? I heard the guys louder in answering that. They are very interested in your subject. So when you're toddlers, are these active? So why they are not active now? When are they active? After SPM? What? What? I heard somebody say after SPM. Really? Puberty. Okay, puberty. Alright. Yeah. So actually, these hormones, when the time comes, the glands become mature. So more cells become specialized, and these cells start to produce these chemicals or signaling molecules, and that's why you have all your associated characters upon puberty. For example, now you can talk to the phone very long, like 3 hours. That's nothing, right? Yeah, you have all the energy in the world to focus on one person. Yeah. Before that, in toddlers, you don't have that, right? You want to play that. You want to play this. You want to play everything, right? So there's a changes. Why? Because these signaling molecules trigger physiological changes in you and also physical changes. So it's the same for plants. Small molecules to trigger a cascade of changes. So the other terminologies also used is also the phytohormones. Like I said, it's usually natural. So this guy in 1948, Thiemann, defined it as organic compound produced naturally in higher plants. Right? It's the function still the same, controlling growth and other physiological functions at a site remote from its place of production. Right? So, meaning to say that hormones can move about, both in humans, both in plants. Okay? But the thing with plant is the travel can be greater than humans, because some plants are much bigger than humans. Right? So I put it also here how it different. That's pretty much what I just said, right? But look at number 2. Plant hormones do not have definite target areas. Okay, if you have your FSH and LH, will it affect your finger? Okay, where does it go? Don't answer, just where it goes, because this is not a biology subject. Right? So it's produced and the target will go straight to that particular substance. For example, the hormone insulin. Insulin produced where? Pancreas. What's the function of insulin? To raise sugar level? To control? Yeah, in a way. It's actually it acts like a key to allow the cell to open so that the sugar can get into the cells, right? So that's why there are terms like insulin resistant. You got lots of insulin, but the sugar cannot get in. It just becomes stubborn. That's why don't eat too much sugar. You don't want to have that. It's a nasty disease to experience. So plant hormones do not have definite target areas, meaning to say it can travel and it can affect more than one organs. For example, auxin, not only that it can make the plant to grow taller, it also can make the fruit to grow larger. Fruit and stem, that's 2 different organs, right? So it doesn't have specific functions, right? But when it's being expressed or secreted at a specific time, then the specific things that you see on the plant can be recognized. For example, the hormone ethylene. Ethylene is the only hormone in the form of gas. Okay, other hormones in the form of liquid, soluble, but ethylene is the only one in the form of gas. So ethylene, when it is released, if the organs that it should work on is not present, nothing much will happen. But if the ethylene is released and there is a green fruit, the fruit will becoming ripened over time. Okay, so that's the function of ethylene, right? Have you heard ethylene before? Yes. Right, ethylene, right? So there are some of my functions. Okay, so for your level, these are the basic that you need to know, the hormones. There are a few I will mention later, but let's start with this first. So you need to know about auxin, cytokinin, abscisic acid, gibberellins, and the ethylene gas. Okay, and there are other plant growth regulators that we will touch about. Brasinosteroids, salicylic acid, and also jasmonic acid. So these three, in the coming semester, I will add to these 5 because there are many literature now to show how important is brasinosteroids and some other growth regulators like strigolactones. So auxin, that is used for the growth. Cytokinin, it's actually from the word of a phase in cytokinesis. Do you know remember your mitosis? What are the phases in mitosis? Who remember the stages in mitosis? Okay, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. That's all. Huh? Yeah, the plants, there's an extra for plant. The formation of cell plate. And then you got your cytokinesis. Cytokinesis meaning that the cell divide now. Become 2. From 1 cell, you become 2 cell. Cytokinesis. So that's why you get the cytokinin. So people usually spray this to prolong the growing period for the tissue. Something like anti-aging for the plant. Right? When I say anti-aging, you don't go to replace your Watson cosmetic thing and then spray to your face. I'll assure you, next morning your face will turn green. Then you got ABA, gibberellic acid, and also the gases. So you will see that not all the time, and hormones act to excite. Even though the Greek word hormone means to excite, sometimes the hormones can act to inhibit. Okay, it has to inhibit something. You'll see that. Right. So, PGR, plant growth regulators, can be divided into 2 groups based on the function. One is promoting. So, promote cell division, enlargement, pattern formation, development. Right. So, these are all promoting, such as auxin, gibberellin, and cytokinin. So, these are all promoting hormones. So, that's why they are called promoters type of growth regulators. They are also the type of inhibitors, including abscisic acid and ethylene. Okay, because abscisic acid actually from the word what's that? There's a plant. You see, this is the stem of your plant, and then there is a leaf here. If this is a leaf, if this is a stem, what is this? Petiole, right? So, in this petiole, there is, if you zoom in this region, there is like a easy to die spot of tissue. Remember in the first week you learned about apoptosis? Right. So this region, if you zoom in, they are called I do not know how to spell this. For 20 years I've been abscission layer. I need to. It should be B. Abscission layer. Abscised. It's from the word abscise. I need to double check my spelling. Well, I'm allowed not to remember the spelling. I'm not English teacher. Abscise. Not abscess? Yep. Abscise. From the word abscise. A-B-S-I-S-E. Abscise. So abscess means when the leaf has matured, it has senescent, this region called the abscission layer will die off, program death, and it will cause the leaf to fall. So that's where the name of abscisic acid gets its name from. It's causing the plant to stop growing, time to die. Right? Okay, and then of course you got ethylene. Ethylene, even though you see ethylene like promoting something, promoting fruit ripening, well, it's actually doing so by stopping the plant to grow further. For example, it prevents the fruit from storing the starch further, and whatever the complex sugar in the unripened fruit becoming more and more simpler sugar, so that's why it tastes sweeter. So thanks to the effects of ethylene. And also ethylene will soften the tissue. You know your mango, when it's first produced on the tree, mango tree, your unripe grey mango, is it soft or hard? Hard, right? Do you still eat it? Yeah, of course. It's a fine delicacy. But if you leave it for quite some time, or you wrap it in newspaper, the ethylene will soften it. Yeah. So through that reaction, you will get this ripened fruit. All right. Okay. Okay. I see. So that's. Let me. Oops. 1 second. I don't want to go into Aussie. I want to address something right at the end. Okay, remember I told you about other kind of hormone groups? So there are some others like these: strigalactones, brasinosteroid, jasmonate, and salicylates. Right. For some reasons, your lab manual, I told you, right, it's very outdated. Okay, so I'm in the process to correct it. I'm going to infuse what used to be grayed out. I want to bring them into here as well, because they are just important to ensure plants grow properly, right? So you will still need to master this, because in agriculture, many hormones actually, growth regulators use these kind of hormone groups to, to make your fruit ripen, to make your fruits bigger, to make your plant bushier. These are actually like the added bonus if you want something else to happen to your plant. For example, if you want your plant to flower quickly, you want your plant to bloom profusely, yeah, that kind of thing. All right. Okay, so that is the introduction for the hormones. Any question? Any question, or do you want to study? All right. I think I just want to teach up to that now. Do you want to learn about auxin, or do you want to study? Auxin? Auxin? There's no auxin question in test 1. Oh, wait. There's one. There is one. It has something to do with that germination thing. Which group have not done the first report, the plant growth analysis? You should be done by now, right? Is anybody still growing? No? Has it all done? What happened to you? Why? Do you want me to show the calculation, or are you good with it? It's all in the Excel. Do you realize, right? You need to do the calculation. Let's see. Let's take a second. So harvest first, the root, fresh weight, shoot fresh weight, refresh weight. Okay. So what happened to the rest here? So what can you derive from here? Have you referred to the note? You have your raw data. What growth parameters do you need to use here now? I told you, right? If you don't study on your own the things that I have shown, you're going to miss something. One moment. Let's see. Is there any group that have done it? No, I'm telling you this because definitely test 1 is going to cover this. Anthracnose. Which one is anthracnose? Just only one. Just you in your group, right? Where is your growth analysis? I don't see anything. I don't see here Hercules. Hercules also not finished. Kacang pendek also not done it. Lenticel got it but do not have it. Okay, class. Let me open this. We need to let's see. I'll just put it here. Let me repeat. Maybe you're still unclear. You have done a series of experiments, right? So for growth analysis, you dealt with weight. So you have fresh weight, you have dry weight. These are called variables, and these variables can be plugged into certain equations so that a new measure is formed, right? Remember your lesson? At the end of your lesson, there are a number of examples how many of growth parameters you can use to do the analysis. So for your level, remember I showed you this before? You only need to focus on this. Okay? AGR, CGR, RGR, NAR, and LAI. So AGR, you need to go to see what is the formula. The formula is weight T2 minus weight T1, and then T2 and T1 here is the days. See, dry weight of plant at time 1, dry weight of plant at time 2. Divide by the time. So you will get the unit in this form, gram per day. So you should have AGR here. Based on this, can you get an AGR? Yeah. So you need to do it. Number 1. Number 2, CGR. CGR, it's slightly different because it has got the unit of over meter square per unit time of the day. Meaning to say, you need to, that's why I said, bring your ruler. You need to measure. Remember when you took your pictures, I asked to put the ruler? So this is why. So how to calculate that? Well, this is the formula. And what else? Yep. And look at the unit here. It's a bit different from AGR. AGR is quite straightforward. RGR, you have this gram per day. Okay. If you don't do it now, how am I going to come to you and show whether your calculation is correct or not? Remember your water potential last week? I come to check to you, right? Because you have done something. You have done something, then I can come to check on you. Because this is not mathematics class. Okay? We don't have the lots of time to spend showing calculation one and each. You need to use your existing knowledge of your algebra, your mathematics equation and so on. Do the calculation and then show to me. If you get it right, you get it right. If you don't get it right, let's see where is the wrong. Alright? So, do this. And there is one here. This one you don't have to do, because this will come later when you do photosynthesis, which you have not done. So for now, you can skip this. But for this one, with your data, can you do it? This one, leaf area index. So what does it need? Remember, you have a second experiment, leaf area determination. Yeah. Yeah. You worked with what plant? Cassava, right? So your leaf look like something like this, right? I'm not very good at this, so let's pretend that I know what I'm doing. Right. So if this leaf were to intercept the light coming, and the light coming full this much, maybe this is 1 meter, maybe this is 1 meter, what is the area of your plant? Let's say that the area of your plant in this here, you have learned 3 ways to determine the leaf area. You use the machine, leaf area meter. What else? You use what? Graph paper. And the other one? Yeah, you use the apps. What apps is it? Easy Leaf. And let's say that this is only 0.68 square meter. So your leaf area index is what? Of course it's 0.8 because the full area is only 1 meter square. Right? And remember, each one of you have 1 palmate leaf. So you compare with your friends. Maybe your first friend got 1.6. The other friend got 1.7. Your other friend got 1.77. So have it all and then start to form the means. This is mean. And also the standard error. So then you discuss this among all these leaves, which have the largest radiation interception from the sunlight. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Surely it's number 3. Surely it's number 3. Yeah. But remember, you also took the weight, right? The weight is this guy. Not this guy. This guy. This. SLA and SW. You see? To calculate that, where's the... the second experiment, you have identified the leaf area, right? So you are good to know about the leaf area index. So this should be present in your Excel. Now, since you also took the fresh weight, you can go for the next parameter, specific leaf area, and also the specific leaf weight. Specific leaf area. You see, look at the unit. It's the area of the leaf divided by the weight. And you got the unit of per gram, square centimeter per gram. That is to say, it's actually the inverse. SLW. This is a weight divided by area. So this one is gram per square centimeter. So why do I say that this is the inverse? You see, when your SLA is high, it indicates a thin leaf. This thing, high value, thin leaf. This thing, high value, more thickness. High value, thick leaf. It's the opposite. So when you want to do your discussion, now you can associate your leaf here. For example, I give you one example. Maybe the leaf area index is 0.68, but maybe it's SLW. Maybe this one, I don't know. Let's put it 1.3 SLW. Maybe this is 1.4 SLW. No, I'll put it 1.8. 1.8 is to say, this leaf, even though the leaf area index is lower than number 2, but the leaf is thicker. Leaf number 2, even though the leaf area index is 70%, the leaf is thinner because the SLW is only 1.4. So it is thinner. Thinner compared to who? Compared to leaf number 1. So what does it mean? Remember during the lecture I mentioned about when you want to do discussion, this you can include this sun or shade leaf. Sun leaves have the tendency to produce thick leaf. Shade leaf, meaning leaves that receive less sun, will have the tendency to produce thinner leaf. So when you have all of this, you need to put into your Excel. I don't see in here, that's empty. So your Excel, you should have the raw data for your growth analysis, your raw data for your leaf area determination, and also your data for your water potential, which you already done. What data should you have in another one? Yes, seed water content, seed moisture, and also the seed viability. Arrange your canvas nicely and tidily so that when your group come to me to show your work, then we can follow one by one what's going on. We need to do it in Excel because this involves calculation. Otherwise, how am I supposed to help you if something not right? For example, you have submitted your report, but your report, the calculation seems. So you should have AGR, CGR. Is that all? RGR? Let's try if you can do RGR. And then for leaf area determination, what you should have? LAI, Then SLA, SLW. Then the third one is seat viability. What you have? There's two, right? You have your TZ test, and you also have the paper towel, right? Paper towel, and there's another one. What is it? Hydroponic. So how do you want to quantify your seed viability? Well, if you sowed 10, how many germinated? You are a science student, okay? Come up with a way to assess it. I don't want to spoon feed you all the time, so you do quick, you show me. If you get it right, you get it right. If you get it wrong, well, let's try again. Okay? Okay? Can you do it? Can whoever need to submit, can you submit on this Wednesday? Or do you need time? Now have you come to your realization? So why couldn't you realize before this? It's the same material. It's the same note. It's everything on here. So this is why I keep on stressing on, do not be blind of the signal and read the room. Don't. Because if you be blind, you'll be missing things. Okay? When the lecturer asks you to read on your own, read it. Even though it only means scan read. Because the note is there. Right? You already got the note here. Alright. So growth analysis still do not have the group, right? Is there any group assigned to growth analysis for the representative? Not yet. Anybody want? I need to write here. Who's responsible to who? Table, lab. Let's see. That's numero, lab, group. Let's put it. Let's be clear. No, I don't want to spell out everything because I thought you could pick up very quickly, but since you still need time to absorb things, all right, we go a bit slower. Insert column right. Oh, that's too many. I just need one. Insert column right. Okay, deadline. All right. Number one, let growth analysis. There's nobody. Growth analysis. Okay. So the other one is what? Leaf area determination. Leaf area determination. Okay. Which group? What? Lenticell and meristem. Okay. Deadline tomorrow. Number 3. Seed what? Seed variability. Is that the only one? What about seeds germination, seed moisture content? It should be together, right? Seed variability and moisture content. Okay, what group? What? Hercules? I don't know how to... No. Oh. Who said that? Who said that? Wait. Let me. What's the one? Seed. No. Water potential. potato. Potato. Lesson number 1, which is next week. Oxin routing. Brazilian amaranth. Okay. Shh. I know there are new topics. Why don't you come and write here, or you can write. I can put this. Actually, the internet here is not that good. You come and put here. This is what you should finish your submission before you go for holiday. Remember, you have a mid-sem break before you're off. What is the last day? 5th of what? January. Do the submission on the 5th. Okay. All right. Okay. Groups that do not have, you can come here and put in. I think everybody should have now. You can work in pair. Who's come first serve. Any group without contribution, at least you need to contribute once. Everybody has. All right. Okay. So listen up. If you have finished something, or maybe you have finished partially, you see me 2 times a week, or maybe 3 times if sometimes you see me on Friday. You know, I always in the lab, right? Friday morning. Whenever you see me, if you want to give something, you can give. If you get it right, it's right. If it's not right, you still got time to correct it. Okay, right? So resubmit. How many times do you want? Because the full mark is 20. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. 20 marks. What happened to 20 marks? 20 marks can change grades. 2 grades. Imagine if you lost 20 marks. Right. Okay. All right. So I'll deadline. I will put everybody. We'll merge this. Let's see. Can I merge this? When? 5. Push. Some per 1. Okay. Legally binding. Agree? Okay. All right. Any question? Any objection? This is what I keep saying to you. You need to do it. If you don't do it, how I'm supposed to show that whether you have understood correctly or otherwise? Do it. Drag your friends. Sit 1 hour. Let's finish this. Like seriously, let's finish this. If you don't have calculator, use your phone. All right. Okay. All right. So I think that's all for today. I'll just leave to you. You want to fight with your friends. you want to study. So test 1 on Wednesday. Okay. It's open. Do you want to call it open book? Do you even use book? It's open PDF. Okay. All right. I suggest don't come late on Wednesday because times really matters. If you think the exam going to be like regular exam that you have seen so far, you are sadly mistaken. Is this class usual? You should be able to read it now, right? So don't come late. Yeah. All right. Okay. If nothing else, so I'll see you on Wednesday. All right. Okay. Oh, test question, 40 question, including all the lab things as well.